Andy Penko's here, and I'm very glad to have him. He's got a new album out. Did you think I was going to say nude album? He's got a new album out called Love, Lies, and Dirty Dishes. Even though, his next album might be nude, because, Andy, it sounds like you've got a very torrid love life going on if your songs are anything to go by.
I don't know about the nude part, but yeah, I think I've got a bit of a name for myself in the country music industry right now. These sad love songs, so which is a
Yeah.
good thing, I guess.
Hey, I joke. It's a great album, lots of great songs to listen
Thank you.
to there, and you're obviously quite a craftsman with your songwriting. How did this album come together, bits and bobs wise?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. You kind of like you plan a lot of these things in advance, and but with this one, it wasn't really planned, to be honest with you. It was kind of just came to me during the lockdown that we had because I'm based in Sydney, and basically without the lockdown, there would have been no album. So we recorded most of it remotely during that time, myself and Rob Motby, who produced the record for me. And yeah, I had a bunch of singles that I was going to release past year, but it turned out to be a 14 track album. So
Wow.
yeah.
So were you just going to sort of put the singles out and then continue to tour if COVID didn't happen? Was that your sort of plan?
Yeah, well, the plan was I was actually supposed to go on tour in September last year,
Hmm.
but that all obviously was scrapped, unfortunately. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and decided just to write and record and focus on the album. And now that it's out, I can get out and start touring it. So and playing songs from the album, which I'm really excited about.
Yes, great. It's been fantastic. I've seen that you've been doing bits and bobs here and there, and you're also got a few dates coming in October in South Australia. Are all of those?
We do, yeah. So
Hmm.
you can jump on the website and we've got the South Australian dates up there. I'm terrible. I can never remember any of the
I think they're the
dates.
8th, 9th, 10th off the top of my head.
That, I think you could be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're heading to Melbourne before that and then off to South Australia. So I'm really looking forward to getting over there and playing some music. And it's one of those things. It's especially with an album that you're releasing. There's nothing like getting out in front of people and seeing the reactions and getting to interact with
Hmm.
the people that enjoy your music.
More people should go to South Australia. I've never been. I'm one of the people that should go to South Australia, but I'll get there.
You should.
Get
Yeah,
there.
yeah. We can come over for the tour.
Now, Fireflies is the latest single, and I just want to find out: did that do the trick for you or Christine? And did you get back with that person that you were so sad about? And whose fault was it? Was it yours or Christine's? I'm betting you.
It's it's I'll take the blame for that one. No, well, Christine M. Kerr, who I absolutely adore, she was yeah, so grateful, to be able to sit down and write with her. And I think this song really related to both of our experiences in life. We both kind of went through similar things, so we can both kind of blame each other in some respect. But there's a few, that's why we went for the title track, "Love, Lies, and Dirty Dishes," because there's all the tracks on the album kind of sit underneath that theme, and this is one of those songs that sits underneath that theme. And I'm so lucky to spend some time with obviously Christine and Alan Caswell, who also wrote two tracks with me, 1993, and the title track, which is fantastic. And another guy who I do a lot of work with, MIVP Studios, Rip Van Parks. He's written
Mm.
two songs with me, which is cool. And yeah, and Cass Stewart, who wrote another fantastic song on the album. So there's a there's a few fingers in the pie with this one.
Amazing stuff, and a lot of collaborations. And the more country rock artists, or however they like to, just country artists I talk to, the more collaborations I hear about. And there's a really long history of collaborating in country music, isn't there? It's like it's a real sort of lifeblood sort of thing. It's as though it wouldn't happen
It's
without collaboration.
it's funny you say that. Like my first project. it was all me. There was no collaborations. And then I slowly started to understand that, I thought I could write a song until I sat down with people like, Alan Caswell and Lynn Botel and all these people that are just amazing songwriters. So for me, it's more about being able to spend time with these amazing crafts people and kind of learn what they do and sponge off them, if you know what I mean. So take in as much as I can and hopefully put into my writing.
Yeah, well, it's going really well. How long have you been at it?
I've been doing music a long time, pretty much most of my life. Country I've been doing for probably about close to 6 years, 7 years, actively and professionally. But before that, I've been doing a lot of different styles. I sang in a heavy metal band, and I sung opera. Would you believe? My grandmother was an opera singer, professional opera singer. So I was surrounded by that when I was a kid, but unfortunately, I didn't really gravitate towards it. But country was where it was for me because my parents, who are not musical, but they had a great record collection. So I blame them for introducing me to artists like Dolly Parton and Neil Young and all these great Americana artists, and lots of Casey Chambers and Slim Dusty and all this kind of cool stuff. So
Slim Dusty is a lot better than what people think. You could take out a half hour of your life and listen to 10 or so Slim Dusty songs and just run random, and you'll be surprised. I was surprised.
So true. I think he's an iconic Australian, not just an amazing artist. He's sold like 8 million records or something like that, something crazy like that. He holds the record for the longest album in history on the Australian RE charts. He was recording 2 albums a year in his heyday. He recorded over 100 records in his time. He's just, he's had this really unusual ability to turn a sad song into a kind of mid-tempo, a little, kind of song and really bring it home that way. Definitely an iconic Australian. And if I had half of his success, I'd be a very happy man.
Well, look, it's something to pitch yourself at. And of course, he kept going right to the end. So, you've got another 50, 60, 70 years, maybe.
Fingers crossed, and I think the cool thing about him, and I think, I have this in common with him, I do it because I love the music and I love sharing it with people. And I know that Slim Dusty used to do that. That's what he was about. He was about sharing his craft with people and bringing people together. So that's exciting for me to be able to do that.
Yes, he toured relentlessly. That's the one big thing I'll take away for about Slim is that as in my childhood, like Slim was never far away. You only had to wait a couple of months before Slim would be back in the area again. But anyway, what a good old
He'd always come back, that's for sure.
Well, let's bring it forward a few decades. And is it hard to get your singles heard these days, or is there a good independent country scene? Do you think it's pretty healthy?
That's a really great question. I think it's difficult. Yeah, it is difficult for any artist to get heard these days. There's a lot of music out there. There's a lot of people out there that are making music and they want to be heard. So, I think for me, it's more about just writing and creating good material. And hopefully, the people, the diehard fans and the ones that really support me, will get behind it. But, the independent music industry is definitely changed over the past 10 years. You don't need a recording company anymore. You can do it all by yourself. You can release your own songs. You're the marketing team, you're the manager, you're all of those things these days. So it gives a lot of people that would never have the opportunity to release music to be able to get out there and get their music out.
Yeah, and music is one area at your level, it really is a meritocracy. The better people seem to go better, and the people that aren't as good, go by the wayside, become bass players like me.
This is, I guess there's a lot of fantastic artists out there that don't get heard, isn't there? But for me, I work really hard on it, and that's, I'm not saying that other people don't, but for me, it's a 7-day-a-week kind of thing. I've given up a lot of things in my life to be able to do what I'm doing and to get to where I am, and I'm grateful for that. But sometimes you kind of think, I wish I had a kind of normal life where I could go and hang out with people instead of being on the road and touring and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of think, I don't think I'd have it any other way at the end of the day.
Yeah, the distances are vast, aren't they? There's a lot of area to carry. A lot of area to carry. Maybe I'm thinking about dinner. There's a lot of area to cover. Like particularly if you want to go to places like South Australia, far north Queensland, but there's people that want to hear you up there. So, you got to go, got to get there.
You do, and I'm currently in Queensland at the moment, actually. So I'll be doing some work, but I'm all over the shop. I'll probably spend, now that we can get out and about, I'll probably spend maybe a week at home, and then I'm on the road for 3 weeks of the month, or out doing something. I'm writing, recording, and working on the next project, and that kind of thing. And I'm planning to head overseas very, very soon. So that's kind of on the cards. So yeah.
How can you financially prepare yourself for something like that? Like, how do you say, look, I think we'll make 300 out of this gig and 500 that gig, or you're just considering everything a loss and you've just got it in your bank account? You're covering all your costs yourself, and just anything you get back is gravy. It's more of an accounting question, really.
Yeah, well, it's that time of year, isn't it? I was actually just doing my tax the other day.
I've been thinking about
this. It's hard one as a musician, because there's some gigs, if you do a charity gig, you might not get paid for that. So, and then other gigs you will get paid for. So for me, I look at it like they all kind of balance themselves out. I'll do whatever I can do. I'll do. I love getting out there, and I love doing charity work. I love doing, I love being paid as well. That's what it's about too. But it all balances itself out. And for me, I kind of make sure that I'm 2 steps ahead of myself when it comes to planning with music, because you treat it like a business, So for me, I'm planning the next project and making sure I've got the funds for that. And the investment often is often higher than what you get as a return when it comes to releasing music as an independent artist. But I guess at the end of the day, you don't really do it for the money either. You do it for the love of the music, don't you?
Absolutely, especially in our country. You've got to just sort of get out there and do it. And if you get a house out of it, I remember in the 90s, because I am very old, Andy, the alternative acts that I would talk to and hear about, they'd say, well, look, we're hoping to get a house out of it. So, yeah. But a house these days, like in your part of town, might be $3 to $5 million.
Well, that's the thing, Sydney's so expensive. I think, yeah. I'd be happy just to be able to eat and put petrol in the car with it these days, isn't it? But
yeah, it's the dream to have your.
It is the dream
to have your hobby be turn into your your vocation, and
exactly.
And you're doing it, and you've been doing it for ages. And this album is fantastic. I encourage everyone to buy a couple of songs. It's not that much money. You're not going to make any money on streaming, are you?
Not a lot, unless you're Keith Urban or someone like that. I guess you can make a couple of bucks from it. But it's everything I get from record sales and streaming, all that kind of stuff. And merchandise. It all goes back into making more music for me. So yeah, the support definitely comes in handy.
Yeah. And Keith, come on, collaboration with Andy would be great.
That'd be great.
You guys would be great together.
I reckon you'll be right. Yeah, I think he's done all right for himself, the old Keith Urban.
Yes, and he worked very, very hard to get to where he is.
He has. It's kind of one of those things, isn't it? 20 years to be an overnight success these days.
No, he wasn't a slacker.
Not at all.
No stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
Nor are you, mate. Fireflies is the latest single. Love, Lies and Dirty Dishes is the album we love. Go get it. At least listen to it. But do sort of buy a couple of songs too. Thanks so much, Andy.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate your time. And yeah, like I said, go and grab a copy. You can head over to the website. So it's andypanko.com. All the links are there. Jump on and say good day. Hopefully we'll see you out in the road sometime.
Oh yeah, follow you on Instagram because you do good pictures too.
yeah, true. And you're on TikTok. You better get on TikTok. Oh, that's where it is these days, isn't it?
I haven't got time for that. It'll be gone in 6 months. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate. You look after yourself. Take care.